news. This isn't the show for the faint-hearted. We don't do PR here. We do truth. We don't repeat headlines. We interrogate them.
If it's power, we question it. If it's policy, we break it down. And if it's propaganda, we cut right through it. Every story, every voice, every fact under the spotlight. Because Nigerians don't need noise, they need clarity. So if you're tired of spin and ready for sense, welcome.
I'm Maryann Okon, and this is Hard Facts.
Nigeria Info 99.3. Let's talk.
.3 Nigeria Info. This is the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station. We're broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios right here in Itimi and Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. This is Hard Facts, and I'm Maryann Okon. Welcome to Balogun Broad, and on the show today we're talking about our budget. I did tell you last week that 70% of our capital projects from our 2025 budget has been deferred to 2026. Now, a lot of you will be saying, what does that mean? Well, my guest is going to explain to us. But before then, let me lay some background, and then I introduce my guest who looks like a senator today. Nigeria is currently running overlapping budgets. Let me start from there. The 2024 budget is still being implemented as we speak. The 2025 budget is already in force, and now the federal government has announced that about 70% of capital projects in that 2025 budget have been deferred to 2026. Let that sink in, for those of you who know numbers. Projects approved by Nigerians' representatives for 2025 will now, at least on paper, be executed in 2026, a year whose budget does not yet exist. This means roads, schools, hospitals, power projects that were promised to Nigerians in 2025 have been kicked down the road like a can. According to the reports that we're getting, this deferment is linked to poor revenue performance, rising debts servicing, and limited fiscal space. All of this sounds like gibberish to a lot of people, but those of you who understand budgeting, financing, you might get a hang of it. So tonight, on Hard Facts, we're asking, what does it really mean to run multiple budgets at the same time? Is this even legal to start with? What happens to accountability when budgets overlap themselves? And with 2024 and 25 still being unresolved, what exactly guarantees that the 2026 budget will perform any better? My guest is the head of, let me get his jurisdiction right before he will say he's not coming to my show again. He's the head of Open Government and Institutional Partnerships at BudgIT. Vahyala, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Vahyala Kwaga. Vahyala, where are you from? Plateau or Benue?
I'm from Adamawa State, Maryann. Thank you for having me.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that Adamawa people bed Kwaga. That's an interesting... find. Well, welcome to the show, and thank you for looking like a senator. Maybe we should send you to the Senate next.
Please send me so I can go and do some small cleaning up there.
Interesting. For the benefit of those who do not understand, when we say two budgets are overlapping, let's start from that. And then another part of a budget that is still running is going to be deferred to another year. Let's lay that foundation first so people can understand.
Yes, so I mean, this is a great question and a great way to start the interview. The challenge is that the federal government went ahead of itself, or will I say the executive went ahead of itself and decided to do something that a lot of analysts and observers felt was not necessary. So what normally happens, or in normal situations, is that you have an appropriation bill for a single fiscal year. Some countries run multi-year budgets. but of course, the law allows them to, and their context allows them to. There are, provisions made for spending. There are caps to certain sectors. Health, education, for instance, may have caps, while other sectors that may not have much priority, would have far less spending. But be that as it may, it's not unusual for a country to have a multi-year budget. The problem for Nigeria is that we are doing what you rightly said in your intro is perhaps unknown to law, having the capital expenditure component of one fiscal year's budget run in another fiscal year's budget. So they are essentially implementing capital expenditure from the 2024 fiscal year in the 2025 fiscal year. Because Nigerians need to be aware that it's not every aspect of the budget that has been rolled over. Salaries are still being paid. So, personnel and wages. Overheads are most likely also still being paid. So what you need to keep the lights on in, civil service offices, to service their cars, to buy stationaries, etc. So all of that spending is still happening. But it is the critical capital expenditure, like you said, the roads, the bridges, the hospitals, the schools, the renovations that are meant to be the little thing that the average Nigerian would enjoy has been dragged on for so long and stretched to the point that the 2024 capital expenditure component was shifted twice. I'm sure you may recall it was initially moved in 2024 to June of 2025 and then to December of 2025.
Yes, I do remember. I think you and I had a conversation about it. Yes, I think so.
Yes. And let me just round up. The real challenge is that the 2024 fiscal year, even from a video I watched the Honorable Minister of Finance, I watched him make some comments yesterday. It's not even clear that the 2024 fiscal year is even over as far as capital expenditure is concerned. Because if you go to the only existing recent document published by the Budget Office of the Federation, you will see the 2024, but the Q4 2024 budget implementation report marked as provisional. So there's actually going to be a full report published at some point. So what we even have is still tentative. And I mean, it's never been this bad.
I'm more worried about the people who are going to be drawing up, some sort of because I think it's going to be so confusing if one is still provisional and the other is yet to be properly implemented, and we're still about to pass another one. In fact, I just heard that they're putting a halt to the passing of the 2026 budget because of several issues. I mean, I'm thinking the guys who are going to be giving account of this, and for the likes of you, BudgIT, who also try to pick some things and try to allow for Nigerians to understand what's been going on, what they're doing with our monies, what's been implemented and what's not been implemented. It's going to be a tough call, a tough job, because at some point it'll be really, really confusing to know what's what. And let's not forget that there are still projects that are ongoing. And the question is, who's going to account for what's happening now and under what budget it will go, as opposed to the ones that will come in 2026. I'm a little confused. My brain is going mush right now. For example, let's start with the very famous Lagos Calabar corridor, and our professor in practice's major achievement. Under what budget is that going to be recorded as? Because I mean, at first we were told it was going to be a PPP, but then it looks like it was budgeted for. How do we account for that?
Yeah, great question, and a very interesting example that you raised there. I mean, I stand to be corrected, but the Lagos Calabar Expressway isn't in any budget that I'm aware of. We have asked several times, we've made inquiries, sister organizations in the civil society space have also asked. That road project is not in the budget. So
who's paying for it?
That is, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I can't say I know for sure, What I do know is that it seems like it's a project that the president is personally interested in, because there have been some investigations carried out by news agencies that link some of the contractors to the president. I don't think I want to go into much details, but it's worrying, because there probably is a serious conflict of interest in more ways than one. But I think the broader question around the quality of capital expenditure implementation, like you rightly raised, is not something that should be dismissed. This is where the budget becomes a fiscal planning tool. This is where the budget impacts the lives of Nigerians. This is how the ease of doing business is improved. Because if you, as a businessman or a businesswoman, want to, export your goods from, say, Kaduna to Lagos, you'd have to use logistics infrastructure, roads, rail, bridges. If these things are not being maintained, if these things are not being built, what does it say for entrepreneurs? What does it say for those in the agricultural sector? What does it say for those in the industrial sector? Energy provision is still a challenge. There's about 4 trillion naira in debt that the discos claim the federal government needs to repay. And that conversation seems to have fizzled out. Of course, that's not necessarily.
It will come back. It definitely will raise its ugly head, because it's. I guess it's just marinating. It'll come back up. I mean, maybe when we start looking at the budgets closely, they would also come back with that. So, go ahead. Just wrap up your thoughts.
Yes. So yeah. Just to wrap up, it's a situation that requires all of us in Nigeria to take very seriously. Unfortunately, the National Assembly, that is literally the check and balance to the executive, has in many instances, not been able to come down firmly on the actions of the executive. Again, in the video that I watched at the floor of the Senate in one of the committee rooms, during the presentation by the Honorable Minister for Finance, I literally heard a senator say that we as a National Assembly have approved everything you have brought to us. That's not the kind of language we as Nigerians expect to hear from the Senate. We expect them to be firm. We expect them to stand in the gap on behalf of Nigerians, because they are our representatives. There is no other institution of government like the legislature. And I'm worried that this may simply fall through the cracks.
So, for the benefit of the average person that's listening, this deferment that's happening, is it because government lacks cash, or because budget planning in itself is maybe fundamentally flawed, in this part?
Yeah, another very interesting question. So that pronouncement by the presidency that they were going to move 70% of capital projects is actually very confusing, because you have to explain to us what's going to happen to the other 30. I'm not the best mathematician, but I do know if you say you're doing 70% of something, it means that you have to also mention where the other 30% that makes 100%, has gone to or is going to. Unfortunately, this administration has been silent on that. So they have left the matter to speculation. Have they started implementing the 2025 capital expenditure component already? Is that happening alongside the remaining 2024 capital expenditure items? Or is that going to be deferred again to 2027? So this lack of communication by the executive is actually making things worse. We generally are a society that doesn't believe in disclosures by persons in authority or by persons with power. And
I beg to differ. Is it us, or is it the politicians who have started playing God, that you can't question me? Is it are we the ones fueling it? Because you're blanketly saying that we've become a society that but is that really true? Because we keep asking questions. You and I, BudgIT, you ask questions. The media asks questions. I don't know about the people.
Yeah, I expected that pushback. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that as a people, for persons in authority, and in my research, I've seen that Nigeria is a country that social psychologists say is high in power distance. So what that means is that persons with authority, persons with power, persons with influence are generally given larger than life status, and questions and disclosures from them are not the order of the day. Yes, you are right. There are organizations like ours that ask these questions, but the disclosure part, the voluntary disclosure part, tends not to be there. And, to be fair, I can say that the Buhari administration was the complete opposite of Tinubu's administration. But if you were to look at Nigeria's historical trajectory, if you look at the military area, if you look at previous administrations, I mean, when did we start seeing budgets, federal budgets published? It was just, I think, in 2011 through the work of Vahyala to make the budget a public document. So we're still a developing democracy, but I suspect and I want to hold that there are sociological reasons, for this behavior. Anyways, back to your question. The rolling over of the capital expenditure components, we had a press release that we released as an organization. We see the sense in it. In principle, it makes sense. You ought not to start what you cannot or what you have not finished. Finish 2024 capital implementation first before you think about 2025 capital projects implementation. However, there has been no disclosure, no proper disaggregated disclosure of how you have implemented the capital component for 2024. So earlier in my remarks, I talked about the Q4 2024 budget implementation report. And for listeners that may not know, a budget implementation report is simply an overview or an assessment by the government of how much revenue it has earned and how much it has spent in terms of expenditure. So we'll talk about how much debt it has paid, how much personnel, wages and salaries, overheads it has paid, how much it was able to collect in terms of companies' income tax, value-added tax, and, some capital expenditure items. The problem with the Tinubu administration is that they have failed several times to publish these reports on time. So for nearly 9 to 10 months, into 2025, we had not even seen the Q3 2024 budget implementation report.
Wow.
So we literally did not know. Yes, we literally did. And we have also written about that. We literally did not know where Nigeria was as regards its revenue, as regards its expenditure. All what we were relying on were sound bites from the Minister of Finance or from the FIRS chairman that, ought not to be in a democracy such as ours in 2025. Again, I want to remind Nigerians that, the late President Muhammadu Buhari, an ex-military general, there was far more consistent publishing of the budget implementation reports than the Tinubu administration. This has been abysmal. And, as the young people say, let me say one more thing to bust your head. The Buhari administration set up what I'm sure what I'm sure the Open Treasury Portal. The Open Treasury Portal was set up by the Accountant General then during Buhari's administration that literally provided daily payment information on how much the federal government spent, to purchase overheads and some capital expenditure items. Now, this was data that, by and large was accessible. Not all of it was machine readable. There were some dead links on that site, but you could go to Open Treasury and see how much, say, Nigerian Ports Authority spent on overheads, for the first 6 months of the year. Guess what? From January of this year, the Open Treasury Portal has not been updated. There has not been one single report on how much the federal government has spent since January of 2025.
Well, they might have an excuse. For example, they recently reported that they've had a revenue shortfall this year. I don't know about last year. That they've been missing projections by tens of trillions of naira. But let's talk about the fact that the government is saying we don't have money. There's no money. If revenue performance was already weak in 2024 and underperformed in 2025, I mean, there's a lot that we need to expect in terms of taxation. But then we're hearing that what was agreed on the floor of the National Assembly is not what's in the gazetted tax bill. And it means that they now have to go through it with a fine comb. So again, I go back to where I was a bit discombobulated because everything seems to just, it looks very confusing, like topsy-turvy. So the excuse that government is saying we don't have money, is it good enough an excuse to go by for their non-implementation or improper implementation or unaccountability to the average Nigerian?
I absolutely do not think it's a justification. I don't think it's tenable. It's one thing for you to say you don't have revenue. It's another thing for you not to report adequately on that revenue. And, in fairness to the federal government, the 2024 provisional budget implementation report, which, by the way, Q4 BIRs, that's budget implementation reports, tend to be fairly comprehensive because they'll give you they tend to provide like a summary of the entire fiscal year. 4 quarters make a year. So they actually performed relatively well, about 80% of their target in terms of revenue. We had targeted 24 trillion. We made about 20 trillion. Yes, that's, pretty good performance. But when you look at the deficits, I mean, that's the difference between our budgeted revenue and our budgeted expenditure. You then ask yourself, so that shortfall will be plugged by what? It will be plugged by loans. And the Tinubu administration has been aggressive in filling that deficit. So the 2025 budget was pegged at about 54 trillion. Revenue was supposed to be around 35 trillion. So you had like a 17 trillion naira deficit. And Tinubu has been, has made no bones about approaching the Eurobond market and the domestic credit market, which, was interesting because, at some point he said Nigeria was no more borrowing, only for him, literally, I think a week later,
to ask the Senate to approve. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Lagos, we're still talking on Balogun and Broad. Stay with us.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Introducing So Clean Pink Detergent, Nigeria's first pink detergent innovation, specially formulated to make your clothes look and smell amazing. It's with 2 times perfume, so every wash releases a burst of long-lasting fragrance. It's soft on clothes with color guard that leaves your colored clothes vibrant and bright. So Clean Pink delivers great cleaning while treating your fabrics to a touch of luxury. Feel the pink with So Clean, the #1 pink detergent.
Feeling under the weather? Tired of getting sick? Immunase from Vitabiotics can help. Immunase is a supplement packed with vitamins and minerals like vitamin D, zinc, and selenium that support your immune system. With Immunase, you can boost your natural defenses and fight infections, reduce your occurrence of illnesses, enjoy faster recovery, and better energy levels. Immunase from Vitabiotics, trusted partner to keep you healthy. Available at pharmacies near you.
Dirty December Fest is more than a festival. It's a cultural takeover from December 7th to 31st. Get ready for world-class music, spectacular productions, and the most unforgettable experiences. It all kicks off with a Dirty December Fest grand opening aerial and cinematic live concerts on December 7th. Juma Jux December 18th. Busta Rhymes December 19th. Plus Afro Vibes Fest, Gen Z Republic, Dirty Food Village, Xmas Grotto, Dirty Pop-Up, and glide through the season on Lagos's coolest skating rink. And that's just the beginning. Check the full calendar for more at dirtydeckfest.com. That's dirtydeckfest.com. Venue, Iluberin, doors open at 3 p.m. Dirty December Fest is produced by Lifesport 360 and supported by Pepsi.
Hey, Omo, see package. This is what I call full house.
Yes, sir. That's me.
Who's talking about you? I'm talking about this Peak Yogurt Drink Full House pack in your hand.
The Peak Yogurt Drink 1 liter Full House pack with more refreshment contains fresh cow milk. Share and enjoy full house goodness filled with essential vitamins and minerals. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Hey, yeah, now Orabi, with Orabi, but it's strong, my mouth is fresh. It clean well, oh, now Orabi. Strong teeth Orabi, fresh bread Orabi, 24/7 with Orabi. Strong teeth Orabi.
Yes, so get your own Orabi 130 grams pack now for 1,500 naira. Now Nigerian Dental Association serve deal with Orabi.
It's the season for jollification, and we are kicking off with the Hares Insurance Excite Rewards. Get free fuel vouchers, airtime, electricity tokens, and cable TV subscriptions when you renew any insurance plan from Hares General Insurance. You also get rewarded when you buy any of the following insurance plans: the Flexi or Comprehensive Motor Insurance Plan, travel insurance or home protection plans. Rewards apply to policies with a minimum duration of 6 months. To claim your rewards, simply send an email to wecare@haresgeneralinsurance.com. Protect what you love this season and get rewarded with Hares Insurance Excite Rewards. Visit www.hairsinsurancegroup.com, that is HEIRS, or download the Simple Life mobile app or dial *1100# to get started. Courtesy Hares General Insurance. Terms and conditions apply.
No matter where you are, city or out of town, you deserve a great reliable connection. The Airtel 5G Smart Connect not only delivers that, but also gives you unlimited data to stream, download, and browse in your home or office. It also comes with wider coverage and super fast speed, all for just 25,000 naira. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to start enjoying unlimited data now. Airtel.
Iboku abi no boku? We asked bread lovers what their favorite go-to bread was, and here's what they had to say.
Boku bread.
Ah, boku na.
Boku man.
And with that, some good news for you.
Buy affordable milk-flavored Boku bread for 1,100 naira only. That's right, 1,100 naira only for all that quality goodness. Oh yeah, hurry now. Buy Boku bread from any Boku mart near you.
You don't just vibe to anything, and that's okay. Do you like it hot?
Hit me.
Then go for Mini Me Noodles Ninja Pepper flavored, the spicy rebel. Do you like it fresh?
Smooth.
Then get your Mini Me Noodles chicken and veggies flavor, the fresh gang. Maybe you like to party.
Giggy.
Then you need to have a taste of Mini Me Noodles Patty Jollof flavor. Party starter. Or you could be a foodie.
That's it.
And you'll love Mini Me Noodles sloppy chicken flavor, the foodie vibes. Whatever you like, Mini Me's got a flavor for you, so pick your vibe. Mini Me Noodles. Slop life.
Uber. On the 12th day of Christmas, my Maggie gave to me 12 spices suya, 11 orishi, 10 wraps of moi moi, 9 eforido, 8 plates of unkwabi, 7 pepper soup, 6 seasoned snails, 5 fried fish, 4 cocoa bangus, 3 patty jollof, 2 giz dodo, and fufu with egusi. Have a delicious holiday season with Maggie. Me and Maggie, so good together. Me and Maggie, so good together.
Mr. Teacher, please, what happens when children come to school? How is it that they leave home very neat and return looking so different?
Non-stop action, ma. All the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, dirty uniforms and shoes, they show that your kid has been very active.
Now, wow.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
As a mom and a dentist, I know the importance of strong teeth, beautiful white smile, and fresh breath. They give you the confidence to eat the right foods without worry. Speak confidently in public, and making friends is easier when you know you have fresh breath. I give my family confidence with Pepsodent's Triple Protection 1, 2, 3. It's 3 toothpaste in 1 to protect their teeth from holes, give them white teeth, and fresh breath. The confidence of 3 toothpaste in 1. Pepsodent's Triple Protection 1, 2, 3.
Wonder is not in the wrapping paper. It's in the reaction.
You got this for me. Oh, you remembered me this year.
Mommy, see my own hamper. This season, Spar Market fills your list with gifts that create those moments. Ready-made and custom hampers, Spar gift cards from just 10,000 naira, and amazing discounts of up to 30% off on groceries, wine and spirits, electronics, perfumes, and more. Visit any Spar Market store nationwide from December 12th to January 1 to enjoy incredible Christmas offers. One store, so much wonder. Terms and conditions apply. Spar Market, there for you.
The biggest food festival on the African continent is back. It's the GTCO Food and Drink Festival, wait for it, Holiday Edition. That's right, on Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st December 2025 at the GT Center, Plot 1 Water Corporation Drive, Oniru, Victoria Island, Lagos. The GTCO Food and Drink Festival returns for a special holiday edition. Think mouth-watering street food, retail stores, exclusive chef demonstrations and master classes. And for the kids, a magical holiday wonderland. The GTCO Food and Drink Festival is for everyone. Your holiday experience starts here and attendance is free. After all, what's a holiday without good food? Don't miss the holiday edition of the GTCO Food and Drink Festival on Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st December at Plot 1 Water Corporation Drive, Oniru, Victoria Island, Lagos. The GTCO Food and Drink Festival, supporting small businesses and promoting enterprise.
Compliments of the season. Come and buy your Christmas chicken here. People. Plenty Christmas chicken. Everything. Basmati, Ofada rice, Jasmine, I get her.
The holiday season is here again. The streets are packed. Shopping today, village tomorrow, party next tomorrow. Everybody's outside. This season, movement not a finish. And with all the movement, your car deserves full protection because one small scratch, one unexpected bump, or one mishap can scatter your plans and your budget. So this season, give yourself peace of mind with Rex Insurance as your cover. From third-party protection till full coverage options, Rex has the right motor insurance to keep you safe and worry-free, no matter where the road takes you. Call 0708 0606 100 or visit www.rexinsure.com to choose the perfect plan for your vehicle. Rex Insurance, you're not alone.
This one where you dey share Coke and Fanta today. What's it happen?
My guy, you never hear them say 35cl plastic bottle don't drop to 300 naira.
300 naira. No be 350 we dey buy am before.
Yes, so the price don't change. Now 300 naira now. Meaning say you dey save 50 naira for every bottle. This one na real small price, big refreshment. Oh yeah, my guy, you said take one bottle.
No lose guard, grab your favorite 35cl plastic bottle for Coke, Fanta or Sprite for just 300 naira for any store for your side. Promo go end when our will finish. Coca-Cola, real wonder.
It's the biggest BetKing Virtuals jackpot with 50 million naira monthly for a lucky winner, 1 million naira daily for one lucky winner, and 50,000 naira every hour to one winner.
Be the next Virtuals jackpot millionaire and win a share of 120 million naira monthly by playing BetKing Virtuals with 100 naira to enter the King Monthly, Royal Daily, or Duke Hourly jackpots. Play now, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. T's and C's apply. That feeling? That's BetKing.
Welcome to Nigeria Info, where the news sparks conversation.
The Miete Ala Cattle Breeders Association has condemned the sanctions against them.
They are finished. We're like a sour soup waiting for someone to warm up. We have to wake up to the House of Assembly. We have to wake up to the House of Senate.
All this talk about voodoo is nonsense. If I had any authority, I'll fire
him. The football team is as bad as the economy of the country.
If you listen to both ends of the argument, whether it's the one where there is a genocide or the one where there's no genocide.
So ever since they have been saying they have been defeating and killing and the rest of them, it's like what they are just interested in now is who is coming to their party, who is not coming to their party.
So what we call this one now, Chibok 3.0.
This is your space to listen, share, and be heard. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. This is Hard Facts.
And it's coming to you live from the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station. We're live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. You can join the conversation by dropping your comment on WhatsApp. It's 0809597585. We're talking about our budgeting in Nigeria and the fact that we have two budgets that are running concurrently, 2024 and 2025. And then, of course, some parts of the 2025 budgets, the capital projects, have been deferred to 2026. 2026 budget is supposed to be presented as we speak because the year is gradually grinding to a halt. But we're trying to make sense of this whole mix up, if you permit me to use that term, or the fact that we're where we are, the fact that we find ourselves where we are today. Is this because of government's failure to take into consideration the fact that certain things have to be done in a certain way and in an orderly manner, or that they need to be accountable to us, carry us along and tell us whatever is happening and explain to us why certain things are the way they are? Well, we have budget for that because budget is always following the government. They're always marking them to make sure that they give us that information, breaking it down so that you and I can understand it. My guest has been talking to us about what he thinks is happening right now. Of course, he's giving some kudos to the Buhari administration and some knocks to the Tinubu administration. But Vahyala, I want to ask really, because I'm guessing that this is a question that's on the minds of some of my listeners right now. At what point do we as a country admit that our budgets are aspirational documents as opposed to what it should actually be? Because I remember there was a time that we used to write budgets hoping for monies to come in, for us to execute the budget. What's wrong with us planning with what we have? And I don't know, I might be wrong. Because I don't work for the budget and planning department of government, but I'm thinking, why do we have to go so all out? And then at the end of the day, we can only probably achieve maybe 8% of the budget. I think you're muted.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yes.
It's a very, very complex question. I call these PhD level questions. So let me not get ahead of myself. I think there are two critical things that stand out. But before I say that, your initial point, you were asking, is it that we are not planning well enough or we are not earning enough? It's a mixture of both, really. We do not take plans seriously, and we have not serviced the fundamental levers of our economy. Granted, we operate a federal system, we have the federal government, we have 36 states, we have 774 local governments, and the 6 territorial administrations in Abuja. And it's not clear the economic viability of a good number of those entities I just mentioned. I mean, if you're familiar with budget's work, we have what we call the state of states, and that is an evaluation of the fiscal health of the 36 subnationals. And far too often, you only have a handful of states that are able to pay salaries, pay for their overheads, and pay for their loans without taking money from federal account allocations, or FAC. So there is a fundamental question that needs to be asked, that needs to be answered. How well do the states and the federal government plan together? Again, I'm going to give some kudos to the Buhari administration. There was something called the Joint Planning Board, where the Minister for Planning and the various commissioners for budget and planning at the state level would meet. I mean, I'm not really sure what the outcome of those meetings were. There's a lot that they had left to.
Well, the intentions were good, I guess. The intentions.
I suppose so. But in this administration, nothing of the sort has even happened. So you then ask yourself, for instance, I'm a governor of state A, and I have X amount of revenue, and I want to spend some of it to fix roads. You are the federal government. You are fixing a road that I don't think is a priority. Why don't we meet and say, hey, Mr. President, this is the money I have for roads. I'm going to focus on, roads that are statutorily my jurisdiction. Then you work on federal roads. What we have is a National Assembly that inserts projects into the budget. I know they wouldn't like that statement because they hate it when we say inserting projects. That inserts projects, and they end up implementing projects that states don't need. I have it on good authority. This was told to me by a director in in a state ministry for planning. I won't mention the state, but he said they have federal lawmakers implementing projects that they don't know about. That is ridiculous and should not be the case in a democracy such as ours. So let me, just use that as my opener to address the question that you're asking. The two problems for me are, one, our planning process is not informed by rigorous data. So the idea is this: civil servants implement public policy, right? They are the ones that handle, the day-to-day running of the federal government. So they implement public policy in the education sector, in the environment, in health, in works, in housing. And the implementation of that public policy, whether it be teaching, whether it be provision of roads, whether it be manning of hospitals, requires the civil servants to collect information on how well public policy is being implemented. How well are we manning hospitals? How well are we drawing down the infant mortality rate? How well are we manning schools with qualified teachers? How well are students graduating? How well and how fast are we building roads? How better is the economy for this? So this day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month implementation of the budget should also come along with information gathered on how impactful the budget is. So this information should then inform the budget formulation process. So as you are implementing the budget, you are collecting information that would inform how you plan for the next fiscal year. So you can then tell the head of your ministry or your agency, this is how much we think we need. In the budget proposal, please budget X amount for our ministry, for our department, for our agency. And then all of these various sectors are combined into what informs the medium-term expenditure framework. Now, the MTEF is meant to be our 3-year vision of how much we intend to earn, how much we want to spend. That is supposed to precede the actual appropriation.
Yeah.
Remember, MTEF is a 3-year scope. The appropriation is for the very next fiscal year. So all that data gathered by the civil servants that has informed the budget formulation should then be sent to a National Assembly that should then ask, okay, ministry, department, agency, how well did you implement your budget in the previous fiscal year? What were your problems? Were they administrative? Were they financial? Was it a problem of timing? And that's how the National Assembly should ensure that their input in the budget approval process, because it's, budget defenses should be rigorous, sessions that last for hours.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry to say, but, looking at the ambassadorial nomination and how some people were told to bow and go. I mean, if you think about the US government, for instance, a country that we have copied and borrowed heavily from, the nominee for, I think it was Secretary of State under Trump, during Trump's first term, Rex Tillerson, who was the head of, was it Total, one of the biggest oil companies in the world, was grilled for 9 hours. One person. So, I mean, if we
I think so was the CIA boss, the guy that was the Indian or the Pakistani, one of those people. Yes.
I can't. Kash Patel.
Yes, Patel was also grilled for hours, but we never do that. I mean, as long as you belong to a certain group of people, then you're good to go. I want to bring Lagosians into this conversation because our time is fast spent and we're almost losing time. So people will have questions, you have comments. Please, the phone lines are open: 0201-277-0993. We're on Facebook and on YouTube. Post your comments on our live stream. If you have a question for my guest, go ahead and join the conversation. The ladies' line is down, I think, so everybody just call 0201-277-0993. That way we can, hear your thoughts. Unfortunately, the ladies' line is giving us some downtime, so apologies if you're trying to call. And those who are listening from the diaspora, you could join the conversation on WhatsApp. It's 08095975 Welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, Maryann. Good evening, what's your name? The guest.
Vahyala.
Very insightful conversations.
Yeah.
And I think I will say that probably the Nigerian government, my name is Akan, I'm calling from Ikeja.
Okay.
I think the Nigerian government has gone away with the fact that probably we on a larger scale, of course, there's a percentage of people who take time to read and get into a number of details. But we've gone away with the fact that so many persons, and sometimes myself included, do not take time to read the depth of a number of things. So that allows for the ruling class to get away with blinding us with all manner of documents here and there. And so you get down to the fact that because even the person who is a senator or the House of Rep member has not read enough, is too lazy. He cannot drill down when there's a budget defense, when there's a ministerial screening. He doesn't have the data, the facts. He doesn't have the relevant knowledge in order to drill down and get the basics. He's just interested in, is this person from my place or this person? I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to disappoint the president. I don't want to be seen as not supporting the president and so on and so forth. I think that's the crux, and it's so sad. I mean, that's just my comment. I don't have a question because basically, I mean, whatever we say is just blanket. We're just there. We're just going ahead. Okay, maybe one day an Eldorado will happen from nowhere. That's just my thought. Thank you.
Akan, thank you so much for calling. I do appreciate it. 0201-277-0993. We'd like to hear your thoughts. 60 seconds is all you have. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, my name is Tony. I'm calling you from Ikeja.
Hi, Tony. Go ahead, please.
Yes, your guest made a point, a remark that caught my attention. The way our House of Assembly, that is the Senate and
the House of Representatives,
representatives, the way they screen political office holders, be it ministers and ambassadors and nominees. You see, as a matter of fact, you can't give what you don't have. We don't have reputable guys in that house. Don't be surprised. I don't want to offend anybody. They don't even know any question to ask. That's they don't know. They don't have it. They don't know what to ask. So that's what it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. I'm not sensing any sense of optimism here today. Everyone seems to be sad. Hello.
Maryann Okon from First Stack. I just want to ask, how do we correct this overlapping something? Will it run forever? At what point will it be corrected? Is government interested in correcting it? Are they enjoying it? Thank you.
Thank you, Maduka. If you were listening, he pointed out some solutions. He started with the ministries, departments, and agencies. Planning from within and then realizing what they need. So they put that out to, and say, this is what we want. Put it in our budget. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is with us and planning. I don't know what the problem is because I think the failure is that we have failed to plan. And then we hurriedly just push things up, push things into the budget. Even at the Senate level, they put more things, and then it becomes bloated. At the end of the day, we're unable to implement anything. We can't even implement up to 30% of what's on the budget. What's the way forward, Vahyala?
Thank you so much, Maryann, and thank you so much, Akan, Tony, and Maduka. I think I loved a statement that Akan made, or something that he was implying about, what the National Assembly is meant to do. So, he said, I felt that was a very candid thing for him to say, that we don't read enough. Yes, there's a large responsibility on us as Nigerians to read, but our representatives are meant to make this information understandable and accessible. I keep on telling Nigerians that if the National Assembly were to operate at 50 or 60% capacity like they should, organizations like mine would not exist. Because what are we doing? We are doing exactly what the National Assembly should be doing. your senator, your House of Rep member should be the one sending you emails and sending you newsletters. This is how much, we want the federal government to allocate to a project in our space. Last time it was this amount, and this is how much it was able to achieve. We want to achieve a bit more. We have grilled the head of this ministry. We have grilled the head of this department. We have grilled the head of this agency, and we want to bring value for money. I mean, there's an entire conversation that needs to be had on the budget process that even includes the National Assembly's oversight function. And, from Akan and Tony's comments, I want to say that we have a crisis of the problem of separation of powers in Nigeria. The National Assembly doesn't even have the power to begin with. And, might I add that those committees that are meant to screen these various MDAs, guess what? The chairmanship and the membership of these committees does not depend on any form of qualification. So you can be someone elected as a rep member that maybe has an SSC or maybe, an SSC at most, and you are made a member of the Senate Committee on Debt. How are you going to bring any value to that? And that speaks to the point that Tony made, that you cannot give what you don't have. So we need to fundamentally rethink the people we put in these elected office, especially at the National Assembly.
I wish we had more time, but Vahyala, I want to use this opportunity to let you know that we're starting our Twitter Spaces very soon, and I would really love to have you as a guest over and over again, because it's not enough for us to do this conversation in the little time that we have, but we need to keep talking about it and help Nigerians understand and come to terms with the fact that there's a lot that needs to be done, especially reading the fine print is very, very important. Well, I want to say thank you, Vahyala. Kwaga is the head open government and institutional partnerships at BudgIT. Thank you so much for what you do, and we appreciate you for always saying yes when we call on you to come help educate us on budgeting and other matters.
Thank you for having me, Maryann.
Thank you so much. Well, Lagos, this is where we live it. I'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Follow Nigerian Info on all of his social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, MIMIEYO. I love you, Lagos. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
More talk, news, and sports after this.
Introducing So Clean Pink Detergent, Nigeria's first pink detergent innovation, specially formulated to make your clothes.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.